So the second part or component of this morning's little meditation on whether NLP and what distinguishes good NLP from bad NLP. Rest assured, there's a lot of bad NLP being done. Bad NLP is being done simply because people can get away with doing bad NLP. The consumers of NLP are so uncritical and so gulled into thinking it's just going to be this sort of mystical, unconscious experience. Their unconscious mind is going to get it while their conscious mind is totally spaced out. And at times, Erickson and people who are extremely competent, know what they're doing, really know what they're doing metaphorically, yeah, they can pull that off. But generally speaking, I think the quality of the training is very, very dependent on the quality of the exercises and the depth of commitment to the exercises. And look, obviously, if someone has sort of a dumb exercise, it's really hard to get excited about it. If it's not really developing you in some specific, explicit way, you say, how is this really developing and what am I going to be doing with this when I get out of here? If that's not evident, if something is very evidently going to give you a huge advantage in life, you are going to be very enthusiastic and you're going to be working hard and you're really going to get it because you're going to appreciate the value it contributes to your life. If you're just doing one more exercise, like I've been in trainings where there's exercises I've seen that have not changed in at least 25 years. They're like no imagination whatsoever, just the same old stuff being shoveled out there. All right, well, what's a metaphor for that? Okay, what's an example of that? Give me an example. You could probably think of many examples of that. What's that an example of? What's that an ingredient in? What's that a container for? What contains that? Lakoff here, Metaphors We Live By, has some very important stuff. I think essential stuff. And when was the last time anyone could teach a competent, all right, NLP training in metaphor? And at any point in your experience, has anyone actually explicitly had a metaphor seminar that was so good you walked out of there really, really grooving on metaphor and being able to do something with it that you've never been able to do? So Lakoff speaks about metaphor. He speaks about metonymy. Chapter 8, metonymy, is very important to understand the difference between metaphor and metonymy and how that may be used in trance purposes and in, I guess you would say, convincing people and creating very compelling images, if you want to create a compelling argument or a compelling description or something that allows someone to take a mental journey. Remember the journey theme. Take a mental journey internally very quickly with very interesting things along the way. You're going to probably be using a lot of superior metaphors. So here in chapter 10, for example, Lakoff talks about metaphors. Very interesting large-scale cultural metaphors for talking about things. Theories and arguments are buildings. Okay, the idea of using building and architectural language. Ideas are food. Ideas are people. Ideas are plants. Ideas are products. Ideas are commodities. Ideas are resources. Ideas are money. Ideas are cutting instruments. Ideas are fashions. Understanding is seeing. Ideas are light sources. Discourse is a light medium. Love is a physical force. Electromagnetic, gravitational, quantum entanglements. Love is a patient. Love is madness. Love is magic. Love is war. Wealth is a hidden object. Significant is big. Seeing is touching. Eyes are limbs. The eyes are containers for the emotions. Emotional effect is physical contact. Physical and emotional states are entities within a person. Vitality is a substance. Life is a container. Life is a gambling game. So these are just a few that Lakoff goes into and explicates how they work and how they shape consciousness. And we talk about the conscious mind, and if we're going to talk about the conscious mind, a lot of the conscious mind in us linguistic humans is linguistic and uses linguistic means for manipulating and navigating around different structures in the brain. So that's why we really need to have a grip on metaphor and metaphorical stuff, as well as this formal logic chunking business, because this is really how we learn to properly navigate the map of the brain in our little set of train tracks that go all to the different little houses inside our brains that have aquariums in them full of multicolored fish whose names are modeled after John, George, Paul, and Ringo, the original Beatles. Following all that? I don't know what I just unconsciously installed in you, but it probably is going to change your day.